A young man named Thomas lies in bed next to a woman whom he caresses in an intimate and silent scene. Suddenly, she turns her face and reveals a disfigured face. The image freezes in memory, and we understand that these visions belong to a Thomas 40 years older who relives his past, unable to let it go. In his memories, Thomas talks with his friends Carlos and Vicente. They tell him about a woman who lives on the hill, whom the townspeople claim is a witch. They repeat the rumor that at night the devil visits her to claim her flesh, and that is why her beauty is so unsettling. Thomas listens with skepticism, convinced that these are just fantasies. At that moment, Thomas's mother comes out of the house with her husband and asks what they are up to. The boys reply that they're studying, trying to sound innocent. The couple heads to the church and, as soon as they leave, the three young men decide to take advantage of the lack of supervision to climb the hill, curiosity burning beneath their skin. They move forward through shadows and undergrowth, hiding from prying eyes. They approach the house to spy through the windows, eager to catch a glimpse of the woman from the rumors. Thomas tries to look through the glass, but Carlos trips over some objects and makes a sharp noise. The fright scatters them. They run without looking back and Thomas falls, twisting his ankle. That's where the first crack in the trio appears. Carlos's fear, Vicente's impulsiveness, and the obsession beginning to grow in Thomas. From the ground, Thomas watches his friends walk away, powerless. A silhouette approaches with a calm stride. Moments later, he wakes up in an unfamiliar bed, disoriented. Moira appears, a beautiful, serene woman who in no way resembles the image of a witch. Concerned about the wounded intruder, she offers him a glass with a liquid. Thomas hesitates, remembering the stories, but in the end he drinks, seeking relief. Next, Moira crushes ice and prepares a container with water to soak his foot. She tells him this will prevent swelling and helps him get comfortable. She asks him why they came to her house. Thomas tries to come up with an excuse. He insists they thought the house was abandoned and denies that they wanted to spy on her. Moira smiles without confronting him, aware of the lie, and chooses not to make the moment tense. Thomas asks what she's doing in the village if she's not from there. Moira replies that she dedicates herself to helping people, without giving any more details. Then, she takes off the band from her hair and wraps the boy's foot, making sure it's secure. Suddenly, the door bangs loudly. Moira opens it and finds Thomas's mother and other women from the village. His mother grabs him by the arm, furious, and drags him out of the house. She warns Moira that if she comes near her son again, there will be consequences. In the present, Thomas returns to the village driving, crossing familiar streets. As he passes by, he notices a statue covered with sheets, in front of which passers-by silently leave coins. For a moment, the statue seems to look directly at him, as if it recognizes him. Thomas, uneasy, speeds up and drives away, trying to shake off that feeling. Back in the past, Thomas listens to his parents talking after returning from Moira's house. His mother suggests that maybe that woman bewitched him and that they need to protect him so it doesn't happen again. Shortly after, Thomas talks with Carlos and Vicente through his bedroom window. He tells them that Moira seemed normal and that she wasn't mean to him. Carlos asks if she has a cat because if she does, he claims, then she's a witch. Thomas sighs. He closes the window and ends the conversation, keeping his thoughts to himself. Alone, he lies down on his bed and brings Moira's headband to his nose. In the present, Thomas is in his hotel room. The bathroom door opens by itself, slowly. He approaches, checks inside, and finds nothing out of place, so he calmly closes it. Afterwards, he drives to the place where Moira used to live. The landscape has changed completely. Where there was once open countryside, there are now hundreds of buildings. However, Moira's house seems untouched, as if time had respected that spot. The contrast makes him pause for a moment. In his memories, Thomas takes advantage of a day when everyone is at church to return to Moira's house and give her back the ribbon. He thanks her for helping him with a mix of shyness and determination. He notices some letters, recognizes a life surrounded by prying eyes and whispers, and assures her that he knows she is not a witch. Moira remains silent, listens, and he approaches to caress her face, wiping away a few tears. He acknowledges her difficult story, marked by the town's rejection, and promises to be her friend, like a silent pact. Shortly after, Thomas argues with Carlos. Carlos claims that Moira is not only with him, but with many men during the night and disparages her without nuance. Thomas becomes enraged by the rumors that circulate with cruel precision in the town, and the tension turns into a fight. With his body aching, Thomas goes to Moira's house, and she patiently tends to his wounds. He insists that everything people say is a lie. Moira replies that her love life is none of his business, cutting off any illusion of control. Thomas insists that it is. Moira, firm, asks him to leave, but the young man doesn't obey. He moves closer. The distance is broken by an impulsive kiss. A clandestine relationship begins, sustained in the shadows and in the tension between desire and prohibitions. Passion ignites, and with it, a dependency that grows unnoticed. In the present, Thomas visits Carlos's restaurant. They share a coffee and pick up conversations that have been buried for decades. They mention that Moira's house is still the same as it was 40 years ago, as if frozen in memory. The past returns with every word, laden with unresolved issues. Carlos tells him that Vicente has lost his mind, that he drinks nonstop and claims there are ghosts in the witch's house. Before delving into Moira, Carlos asks about Thomas's life and says he heard that Thomas got married abroad. Thomas replies that his wife took her own life. The table falls silent, and the conversation fades under a weight that neither wants to bear. That night, back at the hotel, Thomas breaks down in tears. Kneeling in front of his wife's photo, he begs her forgiveness for not being able to save her from her obsession, naming Moira as the source of a wound that never healed. Guilt mixes with nostalgia, and something dark seems to awaken in his memory. In his memories, Thomas arrives at Moira's house and finds Vicente there. Unable to hold back, he pushes him and demands to know what he's doing there. Vicente replies that Thomas isn't the only one with the right to see her. Then Thomas finds Moira outside, washing her skin in her underwear, oblivious to prying eyes. He complains to her that anyone could see her. Moira doesn't confront him. She brushes off the comment and goes inside the house. There, amid quickened breaths and searching hands, they resume their relationship with restrained passion, as if conjuring a spell that isolates them from the world. But the unease has already been sown. Later, Thomas lies in his bed staring at the ceiling, listening to Carlos's voice repeating in his mind, "Any man can have her." Jealousy ferments and turns into urgency. He decides to go to Moira's house that night, even though she has forbidden him from visiting her at that hour. As he approaches, moving through the shadows, he sees a figure in the distance. Doubt pierces him like a thorn. In the present, Thomas is in the hotel room burning the lover's tarot card. The image curls in the fire and the paper turns to ash. Suddenly, he hears the sound of water spilling in the bathroom. He approaches cautiously. The bathtub is overflowing when it was empty before, and a red stain colors the surface. He pulls back the curtain and finds the ghost of Greta, his wife, looking at him with disappointment. Suddenly, her expression changes to fear, as if she were warning him about something. Greta gestures with her eyes. Thomas turns and sees in the mirror the same shrouded statue that watched him on the street, projected as an intrusive presence. The vision paralyzes him for a second, before he runs out of the bathroom and the room. In the past, Thomas enters Moira's house at night and hurriedly climbs into her bed. Intimacy ignites immediately, but this time it's mixed with burning jealousy. Thomas returns to the house. He sees a person draped in a robe silently walking away. He approaches the window and looks inside. What he sees forces him to run away, unable to keep looking. The anguish follows him back home, settling deep in his stomach. In the next scene, Thomas's mother finds him kneeling over the toilet, vomiting, his eyes red from crying. She hugs him tightly and he clings to her desperately, seeking refuge. The confession comes in a sudden impulse that condemns him. Thomas makes a mistake. He tells her that Moira bewitched him, that she abused him, and that he has seen her with the devil. The word spreads, like everything in the village. The next day, Thomas climbs the hill. Moira's house is still burning while several people surround it. Some men dig in the ground as if trying to unearth secrets, and the women whisper among themselves with fear and curiosity. Thomas recognizes the robed figure from the night before. As he gets closer, he discovers that it is a woman. A man arrives with something in his hands and sets it on the ground. They are fetuses. The truth hits hard. Moira was not a witch. She helped women get rid of unwanted pregnancies during the night. That's why she wouldn't let Thomas visit her at those hours. The pieces of the rumor rearrange themselves into a picture of injustice. Thomas's mother interprets the fire as divine punishment, shifting any responsibility away from herself. Shortly after, Thomas enters the house and finds Moira's belongings reduced to ashes. Some boys from the village show him Moira's body, wrapped in cloth to hide the burned parts. The silence weighs heavier than the smoke, and guilt settles in with no remedy. In the present, Thomas crosses the threshold of Moira's house and sits among the ruins. He hears soft footsteps approaching. It's Moira, beautiful and radiant as before, with no signs of time on her face. She comes to him without resentment, kisses him, and guides his hands, letting him touch her as they did when they were young. Skin and memory blur together, and desire sweeps him away without resistance. Then, Thomas perceives the truth like a cold blow. He is on top of Moira's shrouded body. The passion dissolves as he pulls the cloth from her face and sees the woman's burned features. The smell of smoke fills the air and the illusion vanishes, leaving only the presence of death that never left. The next morning, Vicente peers through the window and doubts what he sees. Inside, the lifeless body of Thomas lies with a piece of cloth clenched in his hand. Moira waited for him all that time, and in the end, the justice she never received in life prevails from the ruins, settling a debt that burned for decades. Thomas cannot escape his past, trapped between love and guilt in a town that never forgets and a house that still keeps watchful eyes.